Hello. So after doing some research on Sao Paulo, I found three main sustainability issues that they should focus on. Those being pollution, poverty, and city planning. And city planning probably being the most important since pollution and poverty kind of all stem from that. So with city planning, right, they don't really have infrastructure set up or I guess guidelines on building things or right dealing with issues like pollution, right? There's nothing really there. And Sao Paulo actually consists of a large population of people living in poverty in low income areas. And these are, I guess, they refer to as slums, like very highly dense housing areas. And these tend to be right on the Chiete River, since people need water to live. But the issue with that is since they don't have waste disposal, a lot of that ends up in the river. And it's hard to live off that when the same river you rely on to drink from is the one where trash and sewage is ending up in. So that's like a large issue that they're facing, as well as since there's a large population on the river, it's affecting the river itself, right? Erosion is occurring with so much being built on it, and there's not really guidelines behind like building on it. Um, so there's like the erosion plus when it rains, the water levels of the river rise, and all those houses get flooded and destroyed, putting people in even more of a worse situation. Stemming off of that, right, pollution, right, like I mentioned, sewage and nasty stuff is ending up in the waterways, right, and that is a large issue facing all of Sao Paulo. On top of that, right, Sao Paulo is one of the worst rated cities for air quality, and a large part of that is due to there being a large industrial section where there's carbon emissions and chemicals being spewed from like factories and whatnot. On top of that, right, it's a city. There's lots of cars, lots of buses, and it's highly dense, right? It's like New York, but like worse in terms of traffic and all that, right? So there's a lot of carbon emissions coming from everywhere on top of the pollution, right? Since they don't really have the infrastructure or waste disposal set up. And with that, right, poverty, another large issue, right? There's a large class divide between the lower income people as well as the more wealthy, more wealthy people. I found an article written by Nicole Luna. She used to live in Sao Paulo as a kid, so this is like a firsthand account of her living there, right? And she says that literally they have like the lower income poverty areas, literally, and then right across the street there's just lines of mansions, right, and wealthy people. And actually, a lot of the more wealthy areas, they drink like bottled water, right? And then they're living more well off, right? Because they could afford it. They could afford to be healthy by not drinking the sewage water. And also it seems from a lot of these articles that the more wealthy areas, right, they don't really seem to want to fix the issues occurring, right? And I think if they close the big old class divide, right, both of these poverty areas and the wealthy areas, they come together and fix these issues, right? But since there's this large class divide, they don't really interact with each other to solve these issues, right? The wealthy people, they just live with their bottle of water and living luxury, right? And they just live with that. They don't want to fix the issues. Yeah.